Alrighty, welcome back. Now, our first headline today is about how Bitcoin just delivered its strongest weekly performance since September of 2025. BTC finished the week up roughly 8.5%. And if you zoom out a little further, it's now up about 13% since the Middle East conflict escalation late last month. That's a pretty impressive move considering the amount of geopolitical uncertainty still hanging over global markets. So let's break it down. Who's behind the move? A mix of global traders, institutional investors, and large asset allocators who appear to be shifting capital toward Bitcoin as traditional markets struggle with volatility. In other words, the same institutions that once treated crypto as a fringe asset are now increasingly treating Bitcoin like a macro hedge. What actually happened this week? Bitcoin surged past the $72,000 to $73,000 range midweek, marking its strongest performance in roughly 6 months. Even more interesting, during that period, BTC outperformed tech stocks, gold, and broader equities, which is something we haven't consistently seen in previous cycles. That suggests Bitcoin may be starting to decouple from traditional risk assets, at least temporarily. Where is the action happening? Most of the buying activity appears across spot markets, perpetual futures, and U.S. Bitcoin ETFs, with price action now consolidating in the $71,000 to $72,000 range. Right now, Bitcoin seems to be building a base around $71,500, which traders are watching very closely. Why did this move happen? Part of it appears tied to geopolitical tensions surrounding the Strait of Hormuz and broader Middle East instability. As oil prices spiked and traditional markets wobbled, Bitcoin started behaving less like a speculative tech asset and more like a relative haven. Add in institutional inflows and a wave of short covering, and suddenly the market had enough fuel for a strong weekly rally. So where could things go next? If Bitcoin continues holding above $70,000, the next major resistance zone sits around $74,000 to $75,000. A clean break above that range could open the door to another momentum move. But if geopolitical tensions flare back up or macro data surprises the market, a retrace toward the $68,000 to $69,000 support zone is still very much on the table. Either way, one thing is clear. Bitcoin just reminded everyone this week that even in uncertain markets, it can still move very quickly. And that sudden strength may already be changing the mood of the entire crypto market. Because after spending weeks deep in extreme fear, trader sentiment is finally starting to shift.